And welcome back, YouTube. So I'm legitimately having a bad bus day. The bus that I took to work today, it ran on time, got me where I was going. It was only a bad bus by virtue of the fact that it wasn't showing up in the app whatsoever. So I had no confirmation it was going to actually show up. It did work out for me, but all the signs were there that it wasn't. Well, what's been happening since? Not so good. I couldn't get the code to work as I was checking out of my shift there at the Circle K. And apparently I created my own problem because they gave me the right code and I typed it in and it didn't work. I prefer it when they read it to me rather than handing me the paper, because a lot of times I just struggle to read other people's handwriting. And obviously I just keyed it in wrong because I was looking at somebody's scribbles as opposed to typing in numbers that they were saying. So yeah, bad bus day since then. I had this all planned out. I was going to catch westbound 10 there at 32nd Street at 106. It's going to get me to First and Fillmore around 125, give or take. And then I would have plenty of time to walk over to the Justice Courts. Well, that's not panning out. It's 1:58 right now, so 2 minutes before the court hearing starts. And I'm not going to be at the Justice Court in 2 minutes. It's not happening. By the way, it is still Friday, September 6th, 2024. And look at all the progress. Central Station. That's wild. So, according to the bus app, the bus I was on, the Route 10, was going to turn left onto Van Buren and go down Van Buren here. As you can see, Van Buren is closed, which it frustrates me when buses are on detour and that detour isn't reflected in the Valley Metro app. Because I could have been probably still running late, but running a whole lot earlier than I am right now, because that bus did stop at First Avenue and Fillmore, one block to the north here. Now that's a very long block. It's a quarter mile, but still, I walked damn near that far from walked all the way from 3rd to the east of here to get to here, and just wasted a whole lot of time. The bus said it was going to, according to the app, it said it was going to turn left at Van Buren and then stop right past Central. And I'm like, okay, that'll get me there hopefully a little bit faster, and it's a little bit closer to the Justice Courts. Yeah, it's not what it did. I mean, as you can see, Van Buren is closed. But yeah, what actually happened was it went 2 blocks south and then turned left. Well, once it went past Van Buren, I hit the dinger, like just hoping it would stop soon. It's like, it kills me when these buses get on detour around downtown Phoenix and they just drive so far when there's places they could stop, and there are stops. Like, it seems like when they add detours, they should add additional stops for people that don't want to ride along the detour. Like, we're supposed to turn here, it's not turning here. Can we just get off here, please? Thank you. It never seems to be an option. There's another fancy new building going in. I have no idea what this one's going to be, but it's changed a lot since the last time I walked through here. Got the beginnings of a lobby happening there, and an alley that's going to go through. That's pretty neat. So, anyway, as I was saying, it went 2 blocks south and then turned left, went 1 block east to Central, then turned north, went 2 blocks north to Van Buren, then turned right, and it's passing bus stops. Like, I get it, they're not designated bus stops for this bus, but this bus isn't on its route right now anyway. Can you just let me the fuck out, please? Thank you. Mind you, it's, stopping for red lights and sitting in traffic, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it turns right on Van Buren. It's going down Van Buren. At that point, the voice comes on. And to be fair, the app did show the last stop crossed out, but it didn't offer any explanation for that. The last stop being Central in Van Buren. Well, anyway, it announces, after it passes the stop at Central and Van Buren, it doesn't stop. It announces the next stop being 3rd Street and Van Buren, Arizona Center. I'm like, well, that's freaking fabulous. So yeah, been walking since there. It's 2:02 right now, so 2 minutes late for court. And to be fair, I've been in that court 3 times in the last couple of weeks, so it never starts right exactly on time, but I still got to have a bit of a walk to get there. Now, let's see, I'm approaching the Orpheum, so I think that means I'm on 2nd Avenue, and there we go, 2nd Avenue and Adams. I mean, at this point, there's kind of some bus options, but I think just I'm in that point where it's just annoying, but faster to walk. Now, at one point, there was an opportunity presenting itself that just looked so good. Oh my goodness, Dusty Slay. Friday, September 6th. That's tonight. I don't have money to be spending going to shows, but that guy's become one of my favorite comedians on YouTube. And wow. Like, wow. Ooh, there's another artist I really like. Rodrigo y Gabriela. Just really intense guitar music. I've got a few of their CDs. Yeah, I feel like I'm sleeping on the Orpheum Theater. I've been to one really amazing show there, and I've seen other stuff scheduled, and I've just never been back. But yeah, I went there when Elise was like 8. I don't know, probably 7 months pregnant with Lily. We went there to see Donovan and met Donovan after the show, and it was absolutely an amazing experience. Ooh, the City Hall door just opened up because I walked in front of it and I could feel the air conditioning come out, and it felt so good because it is so hot out today. Anyway, yeah, so another option for getting closer to the court was presenting itself. I was looking to see, if I got off there at Fillmore. I was thinking Fillmore would be my best spot to walk from. And then as I was looking, I'm like, oh, Van Buren will be better. Look, it just turns, goes straight, turns left, goes a block. Yeah, put me a little closer. I had no idea it was going to do that detour. It did. And yeah, that's the thrills of riding the bus in the city, is always so many unexpected detours. God, I'm not going to the Phoenix City Court. That's right here. By the way, if I haven't mentioned it in my vlog, and granted, for most of the summer I hardly vlogged at all my stuff in the Phoenix City Court has been dismissed. Not sure if I really mentioned that, but yeah, the so-called defendant, the asshole security guard over at Costco by my place, I don't think he works there anymore. Ooh, there's the dash. And the funny thing is, like, I'm not sure how long it'll be until this dash leaves, but I don't think that dash will actually get me. Like, I could take it one stop. I don't think it'll actually help me, save me any time versus just walking. The county attorney was down to drop the charges based on me complying with all the recommendations of the court and going to anger management groups at Wren. And then it got continued. I kept having to go back to court like every month for a while. Because they're like, well, we haven't got the blessing of the victim. We haven't got the blessing of the victim. And the whole thing is, I guess the victim just wasn't returning phone calls, which, I get it. He has a right to participate in it, but it kind of requires that he participate. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was, but basically from what I was told from my attorney and him relaying what the prosecuting attorney said, the guy just wasn't responding at all. And eventually they just went ahead and dismissed it. They just felt they'd given him ample time to make an objection, and he hadn't. And it was looking like I discussed it with my attorney, and that even if they didn't decide to go ahead and do that, we were going to go ahead and try and proceed with a trial, because the way he was not participating, we figured it was highly unlikely he'd participate in the trial, and without him showing up in the trial, it wouldn't have gone anywhere. All right, there's the Sandra Day O'Connor Federal District Courthouse. Been a long time since I've had anything going on in there, but I feel like about 12 years ago, that's when I had the lawsuit where I was sued by the Sound Choice Karaoke Company, and that all went down there. And that went well, by the way. Oh, look at that. That's new. It says 301 West Jefferson on the building. That's a Maricopa County building. Wow, that's neat how they painted that on there. It's like so very visible for people driving down Jefferson. I like that. So almost to my destination. Not such a bad walk. I'll say the worst thing about this walk is just how hot it is when I'm not in shade. By the way, the iPhone, I expect it to overheat any second. It is feeling very hot to my touch right now. I think this is 5th Avenue. I'm coming up on here 8 minutes after. Yeah, the judge has probably started his proceeding by now. Although at this point, I think I'm going to start my time when I get in there by going directly to the clerk and just asking if there's been another continuance. It's possible there's been another continuance. It's also possible that there's already been I forget what the heck you call it. Some kind of a, I forget what the heck the word is for it, when two parties come to an agreement and they file it with the court. Consent. I may have come to like a consent decree. It's possible. There's so many things that could have happened. I mean, I'm not a party, so I'm being kept out of the loop about what's going on here. But Priscilla's advice, I went on the Justice Court's websites yesterday and I was able to look up the case, and it did show the hearing tentatively set for 2 o'clock today. Although I've seen in the past where court websites, when the hearing is set and it does get canceled or postponed, because it was set at a given time, it doesn't disappear off the calendar as something that was set. I mean, I'm not sure if that's how this court website works, but I've certainly experienced other court websites where that's how they work. So I don't know. I'll know for sure when I get there. And I'm a little frustrated to be getting there so late. To be fair, if the bus was on time, the Route 10 at 1:06, I would have missed it because I didn't get out there until about 1:08 because of issues with clocking out, which stem from me apparently not reading correctly. Wow, look at those shoes. Those are Converses. They look like they'd fit. Those are there when I walk back by. I'm snagging those. Some laces, and I'm going to have me another nice pair of shoes. Yeah, anyway, it kept getting progressively later. It was weird in the bus app. It showed that it was running on time when I checked it about 2 minutes before it was supposed to show up, as I'm stressing out about them not getting me the code because I need to go and catch my bus. And then when I clicked on when you click on the bus, it shows what time the bus is going to show there when you click on a stop, and then you click on that bus where it shows that time, and it'll show you exactly where the bus is. And the bus was nowhere near where it was saying it was. It was saying that it was going to show up at a time, that was 2 minutes away. And then when I actually looked at it, it was clear the hell over at 20th Street-ish, 18th Street, something like that, headed eastbound, which made no sense. Well, anyway, I sat there and met a really nice woman named Brooklyn. I hope I see her again. I gave her my card. But yeah, I went, anyway, it was late, and I was hoping I could take a Route 8 from there, but it took longer. It kept getting progressively late as we were going through downtown. And the 8 kind of gained on some time, so I missed that as well. Anyway, I'm here. Hopefully this works out for me all right. I hate arriving any place late. So it turns out it's a good thing I went directly and talked to the clerk. I'm a little vague exactly on what's happening, but it's not good. So 2:17 right now. She did tell me as soon as I got there that, oh yeah, that just happened. I would have loved to have been inside and recorded what happened, even though you're not supposed to record in that building. But apparently it was a default. Rob didn't show up. Now they said that a writ of possession for the shop hasn't been issued yet, that they need a week before they can do that. Yeah, still haven't heard back from Rob. That's not a good thing. Rob didn't show up, which is mind-boggling to me. I mean, I don't know what he could have possibly argued, but to let a default happen just seems like such a fail to me. I try to never let that sort of thing happen when I'm dealing with court stuff. But hold that thought, I'm grabbing these shoes. feel like such a scavenger grabbing those like that, but the bottom line is they look like they fit me, and they're in notably better condition than the Vans I bought earlier this year, which are starting to get holes in them. And they're kind of the style that I'd wear. I like them. So anyway, where was I before free shoes? Oh yes. Yeah, Rob defaulted, and from what I've seen of that particular court, like, it wasn't like he had to come here in person. Most of the hearings that I've been there to, people are calling in. Now, I don't know if they're going through an app or they're just calling in on the phone, but everybody's present telephonically. There's been very few people that are actually present in the courtroom, which has made it kind of awkward for me just sitting there, watching and listening. Some people I can see on the screen, and then other people I just, disembodied voice with a screen that shows their name. But ever since the pandemic, that's just kind of been the way courts function. All that stuff got set up when the government was making people paranoid about being out in public spaces, which of course turned out to be a bunch of psychobabble, but whatever. Now that's over, that system's all in place, and the courts have found that it's more convenient just to not actually have people in their building. It's more convenient for the court, it's more convenient for people that don't want to have to travel and find parking in downtown Phoenix and in other cities. So anyway, yeah, I don't know where Rob is or what he's dealing with, but conceivably he could have just handled that over the phone. So anyway, she said she couldn't give me a copy of any orders, that it just happened and that it hasn't been scanned and put in the system yet, but that he's basically got a week to get everything out of there, which I don't see how that's going to even work. But if that doesn't happen, then the plaintiff will file for a writ of possession, which of course at that point the sheriff puts that on the door, and Rob nor anybody else has any, except for the property owner, has any access to that. So at this point I don't know really what I need to do. I mean, obviously I need to try to get hold of Rob, and that's been just a dismal failure. And every time I've tried, either I go by there and there's nobody there, or I go by there and his weird mechanic is there, and his really dude. His weird mechanic is there and says, "Oh, Rob's gone," and he doesn't really know when Rob's going to be back. And I tell him to have Rob call me, and of course Rob never calls me. In fact, the only real contact I've had with him lately, with Rob, has been him sending me a link to some web article about a brew pub closing, or a tap room or something closing, and then it was behind a paywall, or it required installing an app for me to read it. So yeah, that didn't happen. God, I just love the way they've renovated this building. It's the old Madison Street jail, and now it's the county attorney's building. I'm curious what they did with the rec yard up above. Someday I really want to see if I can get some kind of a tour of that building, just to see I'm just super curious from an architectural standpoint how they renovated it and repurposed it into something so different, especially considering how much time I spent inside it as an inmate. I'm walking to the Taco Bell cantina right now, by the way. I'm super hungry and just need a little bit of time and some air conditioning to regroup and eat a little something. Haven't ate anything yet today. Priscilla did feed me last night, but it was really not much, and it happened really, really late. Like she knew roughly 2 hours before that I was on my way there. Now, I didn't give her an ETA when I was going to show up because I was dealing with public transit and didn't know how long exactly it would take, and I didn't really detail the ride back, but it was awful. I was mentioning it earlier, like I had the first bus I just showed up right as I showed up, the 66, and that was great. Yeah, I got a call from some pollster. "Oh, you participate in a quick survey." Sure, I'll participate in a quick survey. Quick in my mind is 5 minutes or less. That woman had me on the phone for like 24 minutes, and she had a strong foreign accent, so it was really hard for me to understand her, which didn't help. And then add to that the fact that it's hard to hear my iPhone. I was on a bus. It's hard to hear people on a bus. And then when I got out, in downtown Tempe, which is kind of a noisy place, and it's also in the Sky Harbor flight path. So I kind of found a quiet place, like in a pedestrian walkway that's kind of hidden behind the east side of Mill Avenue, and it was fairly quiet there, but every so often there were planes flying overhead. So as soon as a plane started flying, I couldn't hear them. It was talking. It was frustrating, and then she would phrase her questions just so, I'm not sure it was the accent, it was just poorly phrased questions, but some of the questions were just hard to understand and way wordier than they needed to be. And then, of course, she wants exact answers. It's like, can't you just take what I say and just figure out what checkbox needs to be checked? Or, I don't know, record my responses and catalog them as they are, rather than try to fit me into it stinks in the alley, into certain boxes. Anyway, I like being able to get my opinion in those things, but all told, 24 minutes of my life I don't get back. And of course I'm standing there because I don't want to go forward. Well, I realized as I was walking down that pedestrian space that, there's the Taco Bell Cantina there, which I forgot was in downtown Tempe. I forgot I was going to walk right by it. I was hungry then. So, not driving, I find I'm also not eating. That always kind of compounds that problem. Maricopa County employee entrance in the Lurs building. That's different. There never used to be county offices in the Lurs building. Wow. How many years ago my attorney, Mark Adair, used to be up in that tower. Talking like 30 years ago? Anyway, I used to walk through that route quite frequently, but it didn't have county signs on it. Oh yeah, downtown Tempe, or downtown Phoenix has been in my life since, I'd say since the late 80s. Anyway, as I'm walking down that space, which is a quiet place where I can hear, and seems like a reasonable opportunity for me to finish the survey, which just keeps going on and on and on. Like, at that time, if I'd have known it was going to be that much longer, I'd have been like, man, I got shit to do. I'm trying to get home on public transit. And of course I saw trains go by, so I know I missed potential trains I could have rode out of Tempe on. But no, she's rambling on in an accent that I can barely understand, and she I think I need to walk east here another block or two to get to the Taco Bell Cantina. Anyways, I'm walking by, I see signage. Oh shit, I'm walking in front of that guy. La, 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 la. Sorry, dude. I see the sign. I see a back patio and a sign says Taco Bell Cantina. I walk up, and of course that's locked, so I'm going to have to walk around the block to the front. But I'm thinking this is cool. I can just finish the survey and go in there and get a couple burritos and be in a much better spot mentally for heading out. But yeah, gosh, I was on the phone forever. It was so frustrating. And then by the time I finished, I ended up going in and Taco Bell Cantina, and that's me wasting time, but I was hungry. Got I'm gonna call it a double-decker taco. It reminds me of a thing they used to call a Taco Bravo at Taco John's when I lived in Wyoming. It's almost identical to what Taco John sold as a Taco Bravo. It's like a taco, an American taco in a U-shaped deep fried corn tortilla. You're blocking the crosswalk. You're blocking the crosswalk. You're blocking the crosswalk. And then it would have with typical taco stuff, meat and cheese and tomatoes, I think, lettuce. But then they spread refried beans on the outside of the taco shell, and then wrap that with a flour tortilla. They're really good. I don't get them when I'm driving because it's a difficult thing to eat while driving. But hey, I was sitting down inside, so what the hell not? I was wanting to kind of regroup with my apps anyway. So yeah, I was in there for a little bit and wasn't really stressing about bus times or even looking at the apps because I'm figuring, well, whatever. My route from there is pretty simple. Just walk over to 3rd Street, catch the train, take the train to 44th Street, catch the 44 North, walk down McDowell over to Priscilla's place. Yeah, it didn't work out that easy at all. The train that I got on was, and I didn't realize they were doing this so much. It used to just be once in a blue moon they'd have the trains that do this, but apparently now it's a much more common thing, as apparently Phoenix has cut back rail service, but Tempe hasn't. But yeah, the train only went to Priest Drive. So I got to Priest Drive and having to sit there for like 20-25 minutes, which was annoying as hell. 10 minutes later, a train comes by. I'm getting excited. I'm like, oh, there's an early train. Right on. Not waiting as long as I have to. Nope, wrong. Train just went ding, 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 and drove right on by without slowing down much, saying not in service. Not in service trains on a light rail route just makes no sense to me. But yeah, eventually the train showed up, and then pretty long delay transfer onto the 44. So yeah, it was after 8 by the time I got to Priscilla's place. And I don't know what time she finally got around to feeding me, but it was probably after midnight. And her thing's, well, I wanted to let you sleep. Whatever. I show up after work, I'm hungry. Thank God I got those 2 burritos, or I'd have been straight up starving. But yeah, it was another one of those experiences. About 2-3 in the morning, I just ended up walking home frustrated. But yeah, one of those experiences that makes me not want to go over to her place. It's almost like she revels in my discomfort when I go there.